Hey everybody. So we have a couple of hosts for tonight that I want to introduce right off the bat. Ruth Shear and Jan D'Alessandro. So if you could please welcome Ruth. Ruth, give us a wave. Hello. And then I also want to welcome Jan. Jan D'Alessandro. We're also looking for her to highlight. Hey, there she is. Hello, Jan. You want to share a few words with us?
Yes. So I met Liz and her father through my good friend Carl Peter Braystrup, who I grew up with on Islesboro. And if you're from Islesboro or Castine, you had the great pleasure of seeing Noel and Myles and Emilia perform here on the island last summer. Sadly, none of us were seeing concerts in person, but the work that they're doing really moved me. I've spent the lion's share of my career, working to connect people through music and technology. And the artist Accelerator that they've created has made great leaps and bounds. And it's a privilege and an honor to welcome you all here tonight to hear about not only the music, but the incredible work that these artists and Liz are doing. So thank you for joining us. And thank you for and your donations and logging in.
All right. Thank you, Jan. Thank you so much. Yeah, good friends of ours. So let's roll right into our first performance. And if you're feeling it, I don't know if you read those little etiquette tips on your screen, but by all means, let us see you. Let's make this as much of a concert as we possibly can. And guess who our first guest is? Rock it, Dad.
Well, this song is not usually done in such intimate circumstances. That is to say, with a face this close to a camera. But it's been done for over 60 years. And it inspired a lot of people at the March on Washington in 1963. And no matter how it's done, there's a timeless message that connects even with these new young artists that you're going to see today.
Over this land.
Everybody, you can unmute and you can clap. Woo! Echo.
Ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. Little extra boost for you there with the feedback loop.
Well, we used to get
Awesome.
whistles. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So thanks, Dad.
Yeah. We
moving on.
are at the threshold of connecting the past to the future, Liz. Want to thank you for it. I mean, you know, yes, you're my daughter, but I am amazingly proud of what you've been able to wrought out of your passion. This and particularly your outreach to these young artists who I wouldn't encounter in my day-to-day, but now that I have, I am just totally in love with them, the music and the message and the connection with communities. And that's really what I think you're going to explain to a lot of the people here tonight who don't quite understand why Music to Life is any different than just doing a concert.
Cool. We will talk about it. I think we're going to move into a video for starters, though.
Okay.
Ooh.
Music has the power to speak to our hearts and activate our minds around the issues of our time. Music is a vital tool for building an equitable and resilient future. Music can change the world. Hi, I'm Liz Stookey-Sundy, Executive Director and co-founder of Music to Life. Thank you so much for tuning in to learn more about our mission to activate social change through music. Music and social change have always gone hand in hand, and for 20 years, Music to Life has been exploring and supporting music's ability to transform our communities. We produce music programs that foster connection and creativity. We partner with organizations to present educational panels and workshops. And today, we're committed to raising up our amazing network of social change musicians. The artists we work with are change makers who empower and transform their communities through music. Our mission is to amplify their voices and support their work through funding, performance opportunities, mentorships, and other vital resources. Now you'll see Music to Life's mission in action. Get to know these artists. Let them into your hearts and let them inspire you, because this is Music to Life. Thanks again for joining us.
All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, hair's a little longer. It was when I last did that video. I am your MC. Tried to tuck it back, you know. I am your MC tonight. Thanks again to our hosts, Jan and Ruth. And thanks, Dad, so much for that earlier song. Many of you know Dad as Noel Paul Stookey of the folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary, and a co-founder of Music to Life with me. And he will be back later for more music and conversation. But it's just great. I can't see all of you because there are so many, but I feel the love, and it is so great to have you all here tonight. I know so many of you through Dad, through Jan, through Ruth, through all of our travels together. So for those of you that are new to the show or the organization, so glad to have you with us. And for those who have joined us before, as Jan was saying, either at last year's event or for one of our other Accelerating Change shows, welcome back. We're excited to have you with us again. You know, I guess my feeling is if we can't all be live together, at least we can connect through, you know, the magic and sometimes the quirks of live technology, but I think we're all used to that at this point. So tonight's show, as folks have been saying, is going to feature music and spoken word performances from two amazing Maine-based artists for tonight, Myles Bullen and Emilia Dahlin. As Dad was hinting at, they've now gone through actually almost a full year of our Activist Musician Accelerator. I guess Jan was talking about that too. The Accelerator you're going to learn about, but it is the first incubator of its kind for activist musicians. So it helps them to step off the stage and into activism by connecting them with the resources, the mentors, the skills they need to put their music to work in their communities. And I'm just going to take a breath for a moment because holy cow, do we need their work. I just want to take a moment and kind of acknowledge with a heavy heart what an incredibly challenging time this is for our country. I feel like, we are hurting, our communities are hurting, and this is economically, socially, spiritually, and of course now physically, right? As these wildfires are just raging through the western part of our country. So the work of Music to Life in our Accelerator is more important than ever, because, it taps these talented artists as change agents who can play an active role in getting us and the communities we care about back on our feet. So as part of this gathering here, you're going to get to know Myles and Emilia, each of whom is using their music as a strategic tool to address head on some of the challenges that we're seeing around us. And again, several of you may remember them from Islesboro. So I'm so proud and honored to introduce or reintroduce them to you tonight. And let's start with Emilia. Everyone welcome Emilia. Give a little wave to her. And let me give you a quick background on Emilia. Singer, songwriter, community organizer, teaching artist, passionate about what creates and sustains healthy communities. So after a pilgrimage of global service that took her to communities around the world, Emilia returned to New England, and among many things is an in-kinship fellow. So she co-creates work that centers on the knowledge of Penobscot Native guides to connect people with the stories of the Penobscot River watershed. So for those of you that are in that area of Maine, that'll make a lot of sense for you. Emilia is a collaborator, and she gets great joy from co-creating meaningful programs. And of course, believes that music and storytelling are among the most powerful tools we have to foster connection between people and create positive social change. Later in the show, you're going to hear more about how Emilia is using her talent as part of our Accelerator program within immigrant communities. But for now, let's let her give us a little taste of her music to kick things off. So take it away, Emilia.
Thanks for that introduction, Liz, and thank you to everybody out there for joining us tonight. I decided for my first song to, this is a song that addresses fear, which is an emotion that is so up for us right now in so many different ways and for so many different reasons. And there are a lot of valid reasons, and I also think we need to be wary and aware of when fear is being used as a tool. And when I wrote the song, a friend said I was expressing some fears that I had. I said, why don't you try inviting those in and just like it was an old friend. And I was thinking about that notion. And I think when we examine our fears, it gives us the opportunity to potentially transform them into something more.
Wrong video.
So this is called Fear Itself. Oh, fear, how you rattle around in my head. Can't seem to stop considering all the things in this world that I dread. Oh, fear, how I love to entertain you. Come in for a cup of tea and leave me full of anxiety. Sometimes you are a mountain lion, poised and ready to strike. Other days you're tidal wave, rolling with all of your might. Other days your fire's burning, and sometimes you're the dark. But I fear I'm never losing you. Oh, fear, all I have to fear is you untold. Through times of deep uncertainty, you are brash and you are bold. Oh, fear, quiet the mind, steady the breath. When the world is pressing on you, sometimes you lurk around the corner, waiting to strike an attack. Other days you're famine, and sometimes a car crash. Some days your age and loneliness, and other days you are in love. But I fear I'm never losing you. Hunting the halls of the mind, stealthily you're creeping, suffocating like a vine. To the child who is hungry, to the family that's war torn, you're the salt in the wounds you come in oh so many forms. When scarcity is squeezing like it seeks the last bit of your breath, don't forget your power. Transformation comes from death into a heart that's courageous, to a spirit that is strong. We won't believe the propaganda, no, we won't be strung along. You keep your distance. Oh. Oh, oh, fear. All I have to fear is you, I'm told. Through times of deep uncertainty, you are brash, you are bold. Whoa, 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 fear, quiet the mind, steady the breath. When the world is pressing on you.
Wow.
Woo! Man.
Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Oh my
Moody,
gosh.
moody.
Thank you.
Smile.
Does that name it, man? Does that name it? Man, how many of us have been there? Thank you, Emilia. That's just beautiful. Whew. So I did see a few of you clapping at home. So I'm just going to remind you again. I think everybody did it this time. Feel free to unmute yourselves after performance so we can hear your applause and cheers. And if you're not feeling too shy, maybe turn your video so we can see your faces. So there we go. That was Emilia. Let's keep the music going. I'm going to shift over to Myles. Hello, Myles. You're looking dashing this evening. So that's Emilia where we yes. Hello. How are you, my dear?
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me do a quick intro and then we'll move into hearing from Myles. So Myles describes himself as a soft rap art poet and person in recovery. Myles is committed to building relationships and sharing his art with those in need. His music is a therapeutic tool that opens him and others he touches to healing and healthy expression. Last year, pre-COVID, he toured 33 states as part of a DIY, do-it-yourself tour, including prisons and rehab centers. He is incredibly committed to sharing his insight and experiences and helping others use creativity and self-expression as a tool for personal growth and healing. I sometimes call him a street prophet. And Myles might actually offer us some poetry in this first piece. So welcome, Myles. Thanks for being with us.
This is a poem called Confession. Move the anxious right out of me. Mastering my anatomy. Strong bones, blood flow, muscle tissue. Massage the fascia, squeeze the struggle right out of me. Balance in manic artistry. Consuming all of me. Never domestic, I'm color free, caught up in coloring. Black and white societies. Racial conflict, hatred makes us all sick, calling quits. I can't stand politics. And I've been working on the finish, you can see I polish it. You dig it deep, you falling in. I wait to fall asleep to dream. Well, our dream is just to live. See, I've been vividly visioning, altering my reality. Physically fishing for a future fulfillment, but it swallowed me. Thinking economy's more important than spending time with my father. Not staying hydrated or drinking enough water. Caught up in making money instead of thinking about our health or building any skills that lead me to feeling happy. Now I'm dirty and angry and ugly and nasty, casting a shadow of selfishness around my salary, judging my talents, not knowing my limits, not giving a fuck about anybody's opinion. If everybody is thinking, then who will be there to listen? Be more about what I'm doing instead of what others are calling me. This is just the surface of celebrating psychology speaking. You cannot silence me. This world may kill me. It's cruel indeed. And when I die, I will bleed. The color of the last sunset that I've seen. I see you're feeling weak. Maybe because you're overworking 8 days a week. Never sober and don't hold inner peace. You used to meditate. Now you eat junk food and watch Netflix all day. Man, you need a new mantra. Maybe try to pray. Or put reality back into context. Complex, conscious, confident, content. Kick poetry to convicts. Honest, keep it real. Find that spot that you fit in, then get it locked in. Live life as an artist. I'm a wood block carving, a crow pose on the carpet. Dope flows and the bass got hard hits. Listen to your inner intuition, it's inching itself out to speak. To live with gratitude is up to me, but can I sit in silence uncomfortably? Comfort me. They say to keep nothing, give it all away, but make sure you get paid. And make sure you're amazing. If you want to live your dream, then you better keep chasing. Forget about self-doubt. Now you erase it. Positive encouragement there to replace it. Love how you're living or change it. Run from your demons or face them. But insecurity debilitating everybody's energy. People always looking for an enemy. Musician on the street, singing out a melody, while black teenagers get slapped with a felony. So many feet on the street, this city is a centipede. This is the wake-up century, questioning authority, channeling our destiny, opening up, and now we're remembering. Thank you.
Whoa.
Whoa. My
Okay, let's go
gosh.
back to Liz.
Nice.
Wow. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. In a moment, we're actually going to go even deeper with Myles and Emilia, explore some of these passions, their life journeys, the causes they're impacting through their work, and with the help of Music to Life's Accelerator. But first, maybe you're wondering, maybe you're not, because that was pretty powerful, but maybe you're wondering how a couple of activist artists in their own local communities can really make a difference in the grand scheme of things. Let's take a look.
Can one musician really change the world? Actually, they can, but not how you might think. One model for using music to create social change is to gather celebrities together, put on a big concert, inspire millions, and encourage activism to trickle down to our neighborhoods. Think We Are the World, Live Aid, and other amazing historic music events. Global becomes local. But today's world is different. We all have the power of the media in our hands. One recording from a cell phone can coalesce a global movement. We are now local to global, and Music to Life understands this. We support movements that start small and grow, and grow, and grow. Solving a problem locally gives it the strength to scale and succeed beyond our wildest dreams. And that's exactly why we launched our Activist Musician Accelerator program. We activate today's change makers to become self-sustaining forces of good in their own neighborhoods. We offer them the support, resources, and training they need to do their vital work. We give them a toolkit of entrepreneurial skills to become a musical crisis response team, working to revitalize and empower their communities. Just a few of these enterprising artists can have a profound effect. Imagine if we had people like them deployed in every community across the nation. Imagine how that might scale, and you can understand how their influence could be positively revolutionary. Become part of our movement to activate these pioneering musician changemakers. Because musicians can change the world when you help amplify them.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking into that video. So as co-founder of Music to Life, as you can imagine, I have seen this accelerator evolve even just over the last year into this incredibly innovative and powerful tool for tapping local artists and revitalizing our communities. So I wanted to give you just a little hint at what we've been up to, because we've now worked with Accelerator artists in both Northern New England. You're seeing Myles and Emilia from Maine. We also have artists from New Hampshire and Vermont, as well as Texas. We have artists in Austin, Dallas, and Houston. And here are some of what's happened over the last year. These Accelerator artists have all learned, they've all basically learned to develop fundable projects in collaboration with partner nonprofits in need. And these nonprofits include opioid clinics and prisons and immigration advocacy centers and racial and environmental justice organizations and youth empowerment groups. So these artists are everywhere. They've all written grants, and several are now actually fiscally sponsored in their communities. And also critically, in this time of COVID, each Accelerator artist has pivoted to deliver their programs online. And actually the entire Accelerator is actually an online program. So as they graduate, the artists we've worked with are bringing their enhanced economic and musical value into their communities, and they can actually be part of the solution as we rebuild the fabric of this country. So we're growing. I hear the appreciative from Dad. Hopefully you are all humming as well, which is great because we are growing. Unlike so many, other groups that are needing to retrench right now, again, because we are online and because we have this kind of nimble program, we're launching several more accelerators over the next year. And I really encourage you to be part of this exciting movement. So you see the slide there, you can support us at paypal.me/music-to-life. And I will be back to talk a little bit more about all of that. And I guess, the way I think about it, and I really want to work towards Dad's next song, because it's interesting. During rehearsal, he inserted this song in, and I realized it provided a perfect bridge, because, the work that we're doing right now is really all about facilitating connections among the community in need, the nonprofit organization with the challenge it's facing, and the artist who's struggling and really wants to be a more effective change agent. So the Accelerator pulls all these pieces together. And I believe Dad's gonna sing a little bit about connections.
That's beautifully put, huh? Our lives are connected like facets of a jewel, the reluctance of a wise man, the wisdom of a fool. They border on each other, sometimes kind, sometimes cruel. Our lives are connected like patches on a quilt, sewn by coincidence, some borders edged in guilt. And though every choice we make creates a different pattern, still our lives are got, and who's to say it's not? If love is the lesson, then how's the teacher taught? Our lives are connected like ripples on the shore. Sometimes we believe in so much more. Sometimes we think we leave no trace, but sometimes less is more. Yes, and our lives are connected like pages of a book. The past is the present through which the future looks. Like leaves on a river, like ripples in a brook, our lives are connected. Our lives are connected. Our lives are connected. Our lives are connected.
Yes.
Oh, shucks.
Hooray, hooray.
Awesome. Thanks, Dad. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the connection.
Yeah. So, so I've mentioned that Accelerator artists are more than talented musicians, that they're actually social change entrepreneurs using music-driven tools to revitalize their communities and support themselves as they also support their causes. So we're going to turn now and hear from them directly to learn more about what they're working on and what draws them to this work. So Emilia, I thought we would start with you. How are you? Here you are. But anyway, you look terrific. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Liz. So I'm the mother of a young child, and I especially call one time when I was rocking a sick toddler for days while winter storms raged outside and felt profound isolation. And I can only imagine that when someone is a mother of a toddler and a refugee in the midst of a pandemic, that sense of isolation compounds. And when you've left your everything that's familiar, the landscape, the language, the people around you, how do you cultivate a sense of community and belonging and home? And as a musician, I think I have a way. Music is the primary language that every one of us speaks, no matter your color, your creed, your gender, your country of origin. It is the thing that connects us to the deepest parts of our humanity, and it stitches us together. Immigration and kind of the theme of home has been emerging in my work for a really long time, from the first time that I witnessed the work of Sebastião Salgado, who is a photographer who documented the plight of migrants, to forging friendships with people in countries who have made war-torn countries, who have had to make decisions that I hope that I never have to make in my lifetime. In many ways, this work feels like a personal response to the national and even global rhetoric around anti-immigration. And so what I've done is develop a 10-week pilot program working in conjunction and partnership with immigrant-led, women-led communities in the area, using music as a joyful tool for community building, language acquisition, and working towards some of those early literacy skills for children, which music is such a powerful tool for. And I really believe that when we uphold the most vulnerable in our community, people who are also really valuable and strong and skilled and adaptable, that our whole community becomes stronger for that. We're using music as a means to foster a familiar sense of home and belonging, as a place to raise voices and share songs, as a container to hold stories, and as a way to empower mothers and strengthen our community, a way to foster language, and to be the vessel for how home is carried forward. So if you believe that art is a path to empathy and understanding each other, if you've ever known the pain of isolation or feeling lost, if you've ever known the relief of feeling welcomed in a new place, or if music has been the balm to soothe yourself, then I invite you to become involved in this work. And you can learn more about it and get connected with me through the links that are in the chat here. And I'm going to play a song for you that that was inspired by a trip to El Salvador that I took in the 90s. And I was struck by how many people I met who had either been to the States at one point or actively had family there that were helping to support folks at home post-Civil War and natural disasters. And I was thinking about how it is a twist of fate that I was born into the body that I am, in the state, in the country, in the house, in the street that I have been. And for any of us, that place that you come into can determine so much about the challenges or the privileges that you'll experience. So this one's called Sad Affair. Maria, her youngest, only 2, exhausted all her options, there was nothing she could do. When she left, she said, "Be good and please don't cry." His tears welled in her eyes, and she said, "Remember, Mama loves you. Brush your teeth and study hard. I am off to make us a better life. We must be apart, and we must be apart." Quiet and still, coyotes cross the border in the early morning chill. Bodies pressed tightly in the back. Well, hope was taking over her fear, and now the world has served her a sober pill. Does so every day, and somewhere, someone with golden fingers will exclaim, "How lovely and so nice, how lovely and so nice." Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a sad affair when latitude and longitude hold you in despair. Oh, it's a sad affair when the grief you're breathing daily is so much thicker than the air. So honest and strong, took a job that promised more, not sensing what was wrong. Taken far away, his heart fell as his fate came clear into view. Now his back is bent from the weight of earth he carries every day, and somewhere, someone with golden fingers will exclaim, "How lovely and so nice, how lovely and so nice." Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a sad affair when latitude and longitude hold you in despair. Oh, it's a sad affair when the grief you're breathing daily is so much thicker than the air. Oh, it's a sad affair when latitude and longitude hold you in despair. Oh, it's a sad affair when the grief you're breathing daily is so much thicker than the air.
Whoa.
Yeah, Emilia.
Yes.
Bravo.
Great.
I want to say, well, that's Emilia, who friend and who I met in El Salvador and is now in the States, and I think that she's here with us tonight. So a really cool thread. Happy to have that connection. And I would like to now introduce to you a friend and collaborator, conspirator, Myles Bullen, who I've really been honored to be on this journey with because I really admire him. So Myles, would love to hear from you about your work and why you're doing what you are.
Did you just copy it?
I just did. But I don't have
Okay.
it.
Thank you so much,
Copy anything else?
Emilia. You're amazing. And yeah, I'm going to talk about what I've been up to. 4 years ago, I worked with a young man named Matthew who changed the way I see incarcerated humans. See, Matthew had been through 10 different foster homes, abused by several of them, and his birth parents were heroin addicts. His first experience with the criminal justice system was at the age of 14. He was arrested for possession of cannabis. He then spent 3 years in a teen jail, suffering with the trauma and mental illness by being bullied that all led to attempted suicide. 4 years ago, I taught a week-long creative writing residency at a jail, and by the end of that week, all I could think about was how this young man and so many others did not belong there. I know now that the prison system had failed Matthew. It's the toxic environment that takes everything a person needs to grow away from them. We've become so removed that we have trouble seeing prisoners as people. You know, people who feel the same things that we feel. Sadness, joy, pain, grief, and pleasure that come from mothers and fathers and that have children and grandchildren of their own. And they're a part of our communities. If it isn't obvious enough, people don't belong in cages. It doesn't help rehabilitate. It further perpetuates trauma and isolates people who need connection, therapy, and healthy ways of expressing themselves. So what I'm doing is simply offering them a space for a couple hours in their day where they can feel safe, where they can explore their creative minds using art, music, and storytelling to process their experiences and to reflect on their personal growth and how they have transformed over time. So bringing the creative arts to prisoners is a form of harm reduction. And it's a way of granting incarcerated people a sense of belonging and worthiness. Music and art has saved my life so many times. And as a person in long-term recovery, the arts have been my alternative church, a place that I can go to reflect, a place I feel I belong, where I can create a new beginning. My hope is that you consider this ripple effect and join me in helping people feel like their lives are worth living, regardless of the mistakes they've made. The song I'm about to sing is a song I wrote about anxiety and dealing with depression, and it's called Way Too Fast.
Winter's coming way too fast. Icy window, frozen glass. Summer dream is come and gone. Just a memory now forgotten.
But don't get caught up in the past. I can't seem to remain present, like I need to plan out my future and then use it as a leverage.
We were young and full of love.
Now we're jaded, feeling faded, awaiting someone to come and comfort us. We sit ourselves inside of isolation.
Lost inside this great machine.
Every thought I've ever thought is playing on repeat. This invisible inception connecting us through a screen.
Caught up in my own collapse.
Kill the elitist ego, sledgehammer to my pride. Looking for the truth that I see in her, hope she sees that I try.
Check your mailbox, nothing's there.
I check my email, voicemail, no text. Feeling unfulfilled with the subtle disconnect.
Time is nothing to you now.
But every second that passes is blending, creating space between the moments, extending the essence of pretending.
Shapeless like a shadow mask.
Uncover the craft, see through the character's mask. Suffering on stage is the pain and the main attraction.
Sunken ship and broken mast.
Went out to sea like a buoy that forgot how to float. Was drowning in self-doubt, swimming towards a new hope.
Ice is melting, moving fast.
Springing to my feet, budding flowers ready to bloom. This pretty city covered with colors, I'm glad I left my room.
Forest find the key.
Unlocking creativity, harboring in my heart cave. Let it see the light of day, illuminate the dark waste.
Caught amidst the cycle stream.
Fill me with fear of feeling open, feeling unheard and outspoken. A nervous disorder that keeps on lurking
Wash
around.
your eyes out, clear your brain.
Breaking down in tears, screaming, filling me with fear, feeling a need for clearing, and ask for help endearingly. Facing the feeling of impending doom, staring at the ceiling in an unappealing room, zooming in and out of reality. I start questioning my sanity, lose control, I don't think that I can handle me. Who's to know who or what I've been channeling? This whole world is family, unconditional love is a fantasy. Can it be? Everyone I know has a mental illness and still it's inside of me. It's named anxiety. But I won't let depression defeat me. I'm excessively uneasy, typically compulsive, addictively indulgent to self-deprecating. I am chained to my behaviors, only I can set me free. Intrusive thoughts like the linger rot in my brain. Wish that I could Photoshop, crop, cut out those things. Distractibility killing me, filling me with all this negative energy. Forget that, I'ma start rewriting all of my memories. In this rap, I'ma start practicing loving my enemies. I'll build the new skills that keep on developing. The strength of an elephant, musical medicine. I'm in love, benevolent, beautiful, feminine. I'ma start being a friend of mine. Rewire my mind, redefine self-love and nurture divine. Unlearning flame will take time.
Take time.
Thanks.
Beautiful, man.
Indeed.
Oh man, Myles.
Yay, yay!
Bravo, bravo.
Oh, Myles, amazing.
Yo.
Thank you, Myles.
Thank you so much. Jeez, so so you know what, guys, imagine Myles on that DIY tour, being able to go to even more rehab centers and prisons. I think about Myles' multiplying effect, not just throughout Maine, but throughout the country. And it's amazing. Thank you so much it's such an honor to be working with you. And, because you can imagine, I've watched the stories of these artists and the other artists that we're working with just unfold every month, right? So I hope it's been helpful to watch everyone here, to have everyone here watch these stories unfold, to understand a little bit about what kind of drives Myles and Emilia and how they're taking action in their communities. And I invite you to take some action of your own as well. Because I guess what happens when I get into these stories is I appreciate that, not everyone can be as intimately involved, right, in these issues and communities as a Myles and Emilia, but we can step in and we can support their music and their activism. And, of course, this is a plug to support Music to Life, because, as we've grown this program, which is such a labor of love with people across the country, you've seen Jan and Ruth, you've seen Dad, there's so many people working on this program, and we are here for these artists, and we're growing to be available to the next generation of artists just like them all around the country. We are right now exploring partnerships with urban leagues around the country as they work to integrate music into their youth advocacy and Black Lives Matter work. We're looking into Grammy chapters and helping them integrate social impact into their artist advocacy. I feel like now more than ever, these are just crazy times. And so we are committed to getting this ingenious program implemented around the country, because these kinds of social change artists truly are everywhere. They're in every community. They have amazing ideas for sparking change through music, and they need our help. So Music to Life is driven to find them, to support them, to help them engage in the work of healing that we and our communities, and particularly those less fortunate, need so badly. So you can be part of this movement as a funder, as an artist, as a community partner. You can bring us into your community. It's a great time to join us. So I know there are links kind of running in the chat box, and you can just, look us up to, musictolife.org, and please feel free to get in touch with me directly to learn more. So I want to shift a little bit into a conversation among these three incredible talents in this show. So let me start with Emilia, although I'll ask the same question of both of you guys. Just curious, I mean, this is a crazy time just anyway in this country, just this confluence of pandemics. And I'm just curious, I wonder if others are curious how you're coping, musically, artistically, spiritually, how you stay inspired and motivated, and in what ways the Accelerator has been helpful. So Emilia, you want to start us off with that? I'm curious.
It's been a real roller coaster. I've had my personal life, or my hat as a mother, and then my hat as an artist. And to compound things, singing is not a safe activity to do together right now. So that's been a real challenge for me personally, as somebody who wholeheartedly loves and believes in the magic of what happens when we make music together in a room. I'm starting to shift that over to Zoom, and it's been slow for me, to be honest. I've had to take a real step back and be quiet and assess how I want to move forward in the best way and kind of feel into it. And there's always been an ebb and flow to my creating, and there's been a real ebb right now. I think it's been, and also as a white artist right now, it's a particularly poignant time to think about what I lend and what I support and how I do that in a very careful way. And sometimes it's lending my gear to other artists whose voices need to be amplified. And as an artist, that's what my job is right now. But I think that Music to Life has helped me be accountable and kind of pull me out of that time of silence and stillness. And it's hard to work alone as an artist, and this has been one of my challenges for the entirety of my career, which has now spanned almost a couple decades. Working alone is challenging. I think for anybody out there who works alone, it's hard. So to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, and to gain new skills, and to have new perspectives, we all need community and a team to help us realize our visions and guide us forward. So I feel really lucky, and it's been really helpful to have Music to Life kind of pulling me. It's really complex and challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. We love having you. Cool. Myles, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I would say Emilia always steals all my good answers every time she goes before me. This was, just to put this into context, last year I did 140 performances around the world. I just full-time toured. I was just booking tours, doing shows constantly, traveling, and that seemed like my trajectory. That seemed like, oh, this is the rest of my life, or at least as long as I want to do it, I can do it. So last year I felt really good and confident that what I was doing was making a difference, and that it could be sustainable. And then at the beginning of this year, in January, I lost my grandfather, and then in February I lost my father, and then in March I lost 4 tours in one day, everything canceled. And so I kind of had this huge shift in belief in myself and kind of purpose, because I put all my purpose in touring and connecting with people. And now I couldn't do that. And I was grieving. I was really sad and depressed for most of this year. But the kind of silver lining was definitely Music to Life. I felt like I had some accountability. I had something to show up to every month. I had people who believed in me and like really wanted me to succeed in, you know, doing my projects, and having people like Emilia to like meet with and kind of listen to how she's doing her thing was also really inspiring. And she motivated me to like work harder and be more organized and more prepared, because I'm like terrible at that. Like I'm really good at organizing for shows and like gigs, but anything else in my life, I'm a total mess. So having people like Emilia to kind of showcase how she puts together, you know, her projects and prepares for it actually was really helpful for me. So yeah, that's me. That's my thing.
That's great, Myles. We love being here for you. We just love being here for you. It's, you know, you give a lot back to us too. So definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's a real narrow window now for authenticity. It occurs in grocery stores, on the street, and it's all done with the eyes now because there's a mask over most of our face. And that still communicates a desire to connect. And there is something about the capacity of music, especially in circumstance where people take chances. You know, at the beginning of this show, I asked people to sing along. I'm probably going to ask them again. But that stepping out of your comfort zone is something that musicians do a lot, because we recognize that we're going to encounter truth and authenticity in a way that perhaps we can't any other way. And I think in all of the circumstances, whether it's a prison, whether it's in a school, whether it's amongst a bunch of unwed mothers, whether it's, I just think that we recognize in each other the humanity of taking a chance. And these artists, these young artists that are part of Music to Life, are just so inspiring to me. Yeah, keep smiling with the eyes, Myles.
Thanks,
we can
Noel.
see it above the mask.
That's great, Dad. Yeah, well, my next question for you was going to be sort of how you see these artists kind of moving through, because you know, you hear people say this is not the last pandemic we're going to face. These are obviously not the last sort of fires. This is not the last, you know, economic downturn. This is not I mean, it's just sort of on and on. And I guess I just wonder how I feel like you've experienced so much in your lifetime through these decades of, you know, marches and social unrest and the struggle for justice. And,
we hope so much that the words of Blowing in the Wind and If I Had a Hammer, you know, would resonate and change. I mean, we had such high hopes in the 60s for a change in the culture. And now to be faced with the reminder of how rampant racism still is in this country, that means that, you know, and this is a sobering thing for me to face because I'm a wordsmith. I mean, I write songs, and to discover words alone are not going to do it. You're not going to convince people with words alone. You're going to get to their heart a little bit with music, but it's the boots on the ground. It's the putting your body on the line. It's visiting. It's being in place, and particularly not the big rock and sock'em concert anymore, not the 250,000 people in Washington, D.C. It's the 12 people. You know, it's the 12 people in the little meeting hall that are going to change the world. You know, we're going to do it. Those are the sign. I have a verse in a chorus of a song called Revolution that says, but we're a raggle-taggle army. We got no uniform or guns, but we've been called by coincidence. So maybe we're the ones to take this revolution to the street, smile at every solitary person we meet, wave at total strangers, no matter where they're from. We're going to start a revolution, and we're going to win it one by one. Amen.
That's lovely, Dan. That's lovely.
Yeah.
I know that Ashley was checking in with us. Ashley Pound is a good friend of Music to Life's who was with us in the very beginning. And she was talking about, I wonder, I'm going to throw this question out to all of us because I think you both have touched on it, just what it means to you as musicians. But she's asked, what does showing up every month to work with Music to Life mean for you guys? What does that mean? And you know, what do you do with the Music to Life team? And of course, I know what I do over here, organizing your curriculum for you and making sure you talk to grant writers and, you know, folks who can help you develop partnerships. And I do all this administrative stuff, but I wonder if you have another kind of answer for her.
Myles, you want to take it first?
Yeah, someone muted me. I would say just learning all of the things I never cared to learn about, like business. I've been able to kind of take in bite-size increments, how to write grants, how to look for grants, how to like frame my project in a way that makes sense to people who would fund it, how to, you know, craft like a story that is intriguing, that kind of captures the work I'm already doing, and make it more accessible to more people. So that's the big takeaway I got.
Yeah, that says it all. I mean, so just to be really clear, we've been meeting every month on Zoom for almost a year with a very targeted focus each time we meet, whether it was grant writing or budgets. But it's been this. We've had mentors and kind of experts in the field that we've had access to, and also really tailored to our situation or what we needed at the time. Like at one point, you know, I said, well, we want to learn more about the press or how to access the press and get wider press for our story. And Liz makes it happen. Okay, next month we're going to be talking to somebody from a VR firm. So it's been pretty incredible to like say what you need and have it come.
Our pleasure, for sure. All right, so I think we want a little more music. I know I would love a little more music. I know you guys have a little more music in you. So Dad, hang out a little bit longer, please. We're gonna have you play us out at the end. And Emilia, you wanna do another song for us?
Sure. I'm gonna end for my last song and on a little more hopeful note. This is a song that I wrote in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I was there collaborating with artists, activists who were friends, and the neighborhood they were in Sao Paulo was dubbed one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world in '92 by the UN due to drug-related violence. And these artists were, they were doing a lot of the same thing that Music to Life was doing here by taking young people, teaching them skills related to the arts, and giving them an alternative to what was happening in their neighborhoods that wasn't so positive. So I spent a month there and came back totally inspired to do more of this work in my own community. And so it's concrete as far as the eye can see, just rolling hills in the favela. And there's flowers and shrubs growing up through the cracks in the concrete, and hummingbirds flit around and find those flowers, and children fly kites from the rooftops, and the kites and the hummingbirds really became a metaphor and personified the qualities of the people who were there, and really were able to transcend and overcome any limitations that were around them. So this is Beija-Flor, which translates to flower kisser, hummingbird. Oh, Beija-Flor, you transcend, and no one can take the levity which you defend. So if you believe that you'd ever fly, now no one can take the gravity which you defy. Where houses stack like dominoes and alleys know the secrets that no one else knows. And thick in the air, competing with the sun, hangs a cloud of despair. The city swells and swallows you whole, but you won't be eaten alive. It's not your time to go. Just like a kite, you transcend when the wind gusts. You sway and bend. The harder it blows, the higher you go. Just like a kite, you transcend. Taking matters in your own hands, standing in the face of so many fears. People say can't be done. I'm doing what's been done through all of those years. But what you perceive will be revealed when you follow the path inside that only you feel. O beija-flor que transcender, ninguém rouba a leveza que defender. Descerá que não pode roubar, ninguém desvia a gravidade que tomar. O beija-flor que transcender, contemplar, envergar e você balançar. Quando mais sopra no alto flutuar como uma pipa. No, como uma pipa. No, Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, amazing.
Woo! Quick reminder, learn more about our work, volunteer, attend a concert, much more by visiting our website or Facebook page. Links will show up in the chat, or you can just find them at music2life.org. Myles, ready for a last one?
This next song I wrote after visiting a youth detention center in South Portland, Maine. And I wrote it, you know, partially out of gratitude and appreciation for my life, because I have so many people who care about me. And no matter what happens in my life, I feel like I'll be held and loved and thought about. And when I visited this teen prison, I met some kids there that just had no families, and they didn't have people who were thinking about them in that way. They didn't have that support system that I thought, you know, I think everyone deserves in this world, is at least to be cared about and loved. So part of this is about the privilege of just being a part of a community, and how to, you know, really appreciate that, and also see that the world is not fair to a lot of people. This song is called God or Not. If the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. I think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. And if the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. I think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. freedom fighting, formal friendship loving, patience, percussion with candles lit. Eating ugly, reading T.S. Eliot, discussions and abandonment. Rhythm, rhyme, paint, brain, habits of havoc. Cruising on bikes and waiting in traffic. Used to hitchhike and travel, we trust magic. And I've probably done things that you could never imagine. Travel locations with starving patience to get it. With a fat ass passion and minimal ambition. Truth is I attracted, I get trapped in indecision. Unnecessary fear that I believe we've non-fiction. With God or not, with God or not, with God or not. And if the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. Think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. And if the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. I think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. Brick and mortar morals, glass heart shattered, fragments on the asphalt. Curiosity killed the cat call with a baseball bat. Next to the comfort of insecurity is a safe space that scares you. Inability, acid raindrops burn, copper paint stops, no author. Rust and peace, leather colors corroding like lust between bus baggage bandaging cuts. Endless edges to this picture frame. There are endless edges to this picture frame. So, Mr. Let your innards spill with way too much time to fill. You've got splinters under fingernails, another hurt person left in jail to rot. With God or not. I was reincarnated to carve out complicated conversations about incarcerated carnations. Burnt orange petals that belong in the meadow. Got uprooted and trapped behind scrap metal. Guards guarding gardens until they become graveyards. You've got guards guarding gardens until they become graveyards. These prisons are graveyards! Rusty chain link fence separate the wild from the carefully groomed. It doesn't make sense when a child is upset that you don't get outside and marvel at the stars or sing with the moon anymore. 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 And if the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. I think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. And if the sun was out shining, someone would try to sell you shade. I think you're beautiful beyond belief, don't let them sell you shame. You either see God in all or you don't see God at all. God's awful and lawful and gone. You either see God in all or you don't see God at all. We don't all try to all get along, God or not. Thank you.
Woo!
Wonderful, Myles.
Thank you, Myles.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Gorgeous.
As they used to say in the village. That's right.
Oh boy, thank you all so much for your time, for your art, for your passion. I'm gonna invite our hosts too, because we're winding down. We have a grand finale with Dad, but we're winding down. So I wanna shift over to our hosts a little bit too, and just get a quick spotlight. They've been sitting there the whole time with their attentive faces on this show. So let's spotlight them. Ruth, well, Jan, hello. Ruth, hello. I can't see. I'm making the camera folks go too fast. Ruth, do you want to say a few parting words?
Well, it's almost difficult to speak. My senses are on fire. I really just have loved every single a minute. And thank you so much to the more than 100 of you who have taken time away from your Sunday night to join us. And we hope that we've inspired you to come along for the ride. We really can't do it without you. And we know how many demands there are on your time and on your dollars and so on. But I just need you to know that literally every dollar that you give us, it moves the music needle, and it creates social change, obviously. And I hope that this, as Liz and Noel and everyone have talked about connecting, I hope you see how this leverages so well. And of course, to Myles and Emilia and Noel and Liz, I mean, without you, where would we be? And thank you a million, and good night. And we appreciate every single solitary one of you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Oh, thanks, Ruth. Thank you. And thanks to the audience. You know, you guys have broken the record, by the way, for our Accelerating Change concerts. We've typically held steady with, 90 or so, but I think we've been over 100 for almost the whole night. So guys, right on. So Dad's going to jump on in a moment, but I do want to give you a few reminders. If you enjoyed this, we're coming back again on October 25th with 3 more of our New England Accelerator artists. And tomorrow afternoon, we are co-presenting a show with the Kennedy Center, who discovered us. And we're going to be co-presenting a show with 2 of our Texas-based Accelerator artists. So that's tomorrow at 4. And I don't know if they have the link, but if they don't, I will follow up with you guys and make sure that you have it. But I think it's a Facebook stream show, so you have to, they do it direct, they do it live from Facebook. So it's the Arts Across America program for the Kennedy Center. And so if you go there, it'll be, you'll be able to find us. So super exciting. And so now we're in that sing-along time, because I know Dad does want to do another sing-along. And and I just wish we could unmute everybody, but what happens is you just end up bouncing off each other. Like, it's all not, unfortunately, syncopated. But how about we all turn on our cameras and lip sync? Then we can all see each other singing, and Dad will carry us along. And I think we're also going to have the lyrics, right? In the chat, the lyrics, so you guys can truly sing along. Dad, the stage is yours.
One flame, many candles. One sky, many stars. And one sea, many rivers. One love, and so many hearts. Song about our commonality. We live in the same house on different floors. Yeah, and I got my window and you got yours. We each got a door that leads to the hall, but the rooms are so cozy and the door is so small. One flame, many candles. One sky, one sea, many rivers. One love, so many hearts. So mostly we sit by our windows and stare. Sometimes we wonder what's happening out there. Is there something I'm missing? Something I ought to see? Something bigger than life? Something bigger than me. Here we go. One flame, many candles. One sky, many many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love. You're looking so good, let's do it again. Whoa, one flame, many candles, one sky, many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love, so many hearts. I'm reading a book I found on the shelf. It's a mystery that I've written myself. I'm in the last chapter. I'm not sure what's in store, but I'm betting it ends with a knock on the door. Acapella now. One flame, many candles, one sky, many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love, so many hearts, one flame, many candles, one sky, many stars, one sea, many rivers, one love. Watch it now. And so many hearts. Beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Hey, Polly Hill, thank you for being here. A lot of great faces out there. A lot of good faces too, man.
Oh, you guys, this is awesome.
Look at that.
Excellent. All right, you guys, hey, take care out there. Stand strong. Be kind. Be kind. And we hope to see you next time. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. You did a beautiful job, honey.
You did a great
Wonderful.
job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz. Thanks,
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ruth.
Liz.
Thank you, Miles.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Adi.
Guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, production
Dave.
team.
Welcome, Miles. Hugs, Noel.
You're very welcome.